Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and I live in the Villages. Every week, I take a look at what's happening to the real estate market here, and I'll also touch on what it's like to live here. If you are looking to buy a property here and you're looking for a good deal, please consider reaching out to me at DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Be happy to answer any questions you have. For those who don't know, the Villages is a 55 plus community. There are residents who are younger than 55, but most are over 60 here. But living in the Villages is like living in a resort. We have championship golf courses, executive golf courses, live music every night of the year at four different village squares. There's recreation, shopping, dining. And something that I should give more weight to is the number of clubs we have here. I think there are over 3,000 currently. So if you're interested in radio controlled airplanes or board games or crocheting, whatever it might happen to be, you will find people who share your interest, which is something increasingly valuable as you get older. If you want to know what long-term trends on prices are here, price per square foot, how many homes are selling, where they're selling, if you want to get a perspective on the differences between the different regions of the villages, this is the show for you. I take a look at long-term trends. I also look at current data. Everything that I show you is fresh as of today, the 13th of January, 2025. A couple of things to note. First, the villages is a different real estate market to that which you're used to. We have two real estate marketplaces here, the VLS and the MLS. The VLS is the village's own internal marketplace. It is the only marketplace on which you'll find new homes, but pre-owned homes are available both on MLS and on VLS. This causes both buyers and sellers a quandary. If you're a buyer and you only have a VLS agent or you only have an MLS agent, you'll only be seeing about half of the properties available for sale. Similarly, if you are a seller, you're going to need to decide whether to list on VLS or list on MLS. You won't be able to list it on both. All of the information I present here is drawn from the MLS. I produce the show every Monday, as I said. Make sure you check the date to ensure you're getting the most recent information. And if you find this information valuable, please consider liking this video or subscribing to the channel. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Once again, if you're a buyer trying to find a good deal or a seller trying to maximize your return, please reach out to me at either DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. I'll be happy to help. With that out of the way, let's take a look at what's happening this week. We start every week by taking a look at the yield on the U.S. 10-year Treasury note. The 30-year mortgage rate most closely tracks this yield. And as you see, of looking at the last 3 years, yields are on the rise yet again. We are over 4.8% now, and it certainly looks to me as if rates are headed higher. What that means for real estate prices, I'll leave it to you to determine. This is the 30-year fixed mortgage rate. You can see that since Jerome Powell lowered overnight rates in the middle of September, interest rates on the 30-year mortgages have basically gone straight up. We're almost a percentage and a quarter higher now than we were in mid-September, and 7.5% mortgages or higher look like they're just around the corner. For those who are unfamiliar with the villages, I'll orient you briefly. This map is showing you the location of the villages. We are in central Florida, about an hour north of Orlando, about an hour and a half from beaches on both coasts. Although most residents here have so many activities that they rarely leave. The maps you're looking at are showing you all active listings on the MLS. The size of the property is denoted by the size of the circle. The larger the circle, the larger the home. And the color of the circle denotes its price per square foot. The darker the circle, the lower per square foot. The lighter, the higher per square foot. Let's look at all listings in total this week. 575 active listings, the highest level that we've ever seen here. And you can see that the rise in listings seems relentless. Unless homes closing exceeds homes newly listed, we're going to see the total number of listings here continue to increase. We keep an eye on this chart. This is the median time on the market for all listings. This week, 66 days. You can see that historically, whenever this level reached 60 in the past, it's retreated. But for the last 6 months or so, that has not been the case. Here we can get a sense of the market as a whole. This is the median list price per foot for all MLS listings. This week, 255.94 a foot. This is the lowest level that we've seen in many years. I've divided the villages into four separate areas. There is a great deal of difference between them in terms of activity and some difference in terms of pricing. And I'll show you what those differences are. But first, let me show you how I've divided the villages into four geographic regions. The first I'm calling the north. This is everything south of 42 and north of 466. This is including the original older part of the villages. The second is the mid-north. This is the area south of 466 and north of 466A, probably the most popular region of the villages currently because of its proximity to all the amenities. The third area is the area that I'm calling the Mid-South. This is everything south of 466 and north of 466A. It includes part of the newer area of the villages. And the final area is the South. This is everything south of 44. This does include the newest part of the villages, and the villages continues to expand southward. We'll take a look at the differences between these areas. There is a difference in price. We're also going to cover sales and homes going pending, but just to belabor listings for a while longer, this is a summary of how things stand at this point. You see the total number of listings this week, 574. Sizes in the villages MLS system range from 672 square feet to 3,508. Price from 150,000 to just under 2 million. Median price is 390,000. On a per foot basis, the entirety of the village's MLS system, the least per square foot home is 131, highest 707, and the median 256. Here we can compare the different regions, north, mid-south, and south. You can see how many properties are available for sale in each of those regions. You can see the size range. For example, in the north, sizes range from 672 square feet to 2687, whereas in the south, they range from 828 to 2597. On a per foot basis in the north, prices range from 131 to 376. In the south, they range from $209 a foot to $528 a foot. We keep track of new listings and pending home sales for the previous week. Gives us some idea as to which properties are entering or leaving the market. Last week, there were 59 new listings and 45 homes went pending. The graph you see is a 4-week moving average. New listings are the red line and pending home sales are the blue line. And that chart gives rise to this one, which is the difference between new listings and homes going pending. Last week, the difference was 14 more new listings than homes going pending. You can see that we are below the zero line and have been now for 6 months or so. So we'll take a closer look at the homes that went pending over the last 7 days. Median price at which they went pending was $254.28. Once again, the chart is a smooth 4-week average. The 254.28 is the actual weekly data point. This chart seems to show that sellers may be getting a little more serious. We're looking at what the price change was from the original list price for the homes going pending last week. The change represented a median 5.42% reduction from the original asking price. This is another graph that might be causing sellers concern. We're looking at how long the homes that went pending last week had been on the market, median 60 days. Looking at this graph, you can see that we are approaching all-time highs. Here we look at sales over the last 7 days. These are the properties that closed. They numbered 22. Obviously, things are fairly slow in the villages currently, but the next 3 or 4 months are prime selling season here in the villages. Sellers are going to have to hope that volume picks up. This is the median price per square foot for the homes closing last week, $253 a foot. The graph is smoothed, but the number you see of 253 is the median sales price for last week. Here we look at the homes closing last week, how long they were on the market. Median is over 47 days. This is a high level, but as I said, we are now in the prime selling season for the village's real estate market. We'll have to hope that buyers show some enthusiasm in 2025. This is our graph showing you seasonal patterns. You can see how many sales per week. The dark blue line is 2022, the green line 2023, the red line 2024, and the light blue line 2025. You can see that we are following normal seasonal patterns, and hopefully over the next 2 months, we see sales per week get back to that 50 level. If we divide inventory by sales, we get weeks of inventory, and this week it's over 26 weeks. This is elevated. We aren't normally much above 20. That peak that you see of over 50 is the week of Hurricane Milton, when a lot of closings were obviously delayed. This slide is very dry, so I saved it for the end. But what we're looking at here is how price per square foot varies based on the price of the home. So for example, in the least expensive price segment, homes under 200,000, price per square foot ranges from 131 to 275, with the median price per square foot of 180, and there are 14 homes in this price segment. In the $400,000 to $600,000 price range, $191 a foot, the least expensive, 376 the most expensive, $263 a foot is the median, and there are 183 properties available for sale in that price range. Let's look at all listings once again, and here we're looking at what percentage of listings have reduced their asking price from the original list price. And for the first time in about a year, we're under 50% of listings that have reduced their asking price. This week, barely more than 49.5% have reduced their asking price. We'll have to see what happens over the next 4 months as activity picks up here. Even though the number of listings that had reduced their asking price has decreased, the reduction has increased. This week, the median price reduction from the original asking price is a 4.35% reduction. You can see that this level is increasing. It may very well continue to do so as sellers try to attract buyers in the first half of this year. As a bonus to those who've sat through this entire video, this map is showing you all homes in the villages that have gone pending over the last 60 days. Once again, size is the size of the home, and the darker the circle, the less expensive per square foot. You can see where in the villages over the last 60 days at least there's been the most activity. If you're a buyer and you're trying to find a good deal here in the villages, please reach out to me, DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Or if you're a seller trying to maximize your return in a reasonable period of time, DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail. I'll be happy to answer questions about life in Central Florida, life in the villages, or real estate in the villages. Hope to hear from you. Take care.